Hey guys, this is Jazzy Lady back with another video. Just wanted to just share some thoughts on Keith Thurman. He had an interview with Brian Custer on The Last Stand that's just starting to clips of it or start. Actually, I think the full interview is coming out is out now. Came out a few days ago, just a few days ago. It was good. It was a good interview, um, and I saw most of it. And my question is overall, first of all, I have to say, Keith Thurman he likes to hear himself talk. Okay? Keith Thurman clearly, anyone that watches that interview can see that. And it's not just that interview, it's other interviews, right? And, but you know what? In a sense, it's okay because one thing I get from this interview, and I've also thought this about Keith for many years, by the way, but this interview, of course, just reconfirms what I've always suspected about Keith, that he's very intelligent. He's highly intelligent. He's very introspective. He's very reflective, and he's very in his head. So basically, he's a typical Scorpio, okay? And I can say that because I'm also a Scorpio. My birthday is kind of on the cusp, which means I have qualities of Scorpio and Sagittarius. Ooh, scary, I know. But Scorpios, we tend to want to find out the meaning of life and why we're here and what's going on, why are you here, why am I here, why are we existing. And not that everybody doesn't think about these things sometimes, but Scorpios probably think about it in a different way, in a bigger way sometimes than other people do. And so when Keith Thurman kind of went off and was gone for a few years, and we saw pictures of him playing the flute up in the mountains, I started laughing, but I wasn't surprised because I'm like, yeah, that's typical Scorpio behavior, to just be trying to find yourself and find out what's going on, and mystical things and philosophy, right? I could that didn't shock me at all. Typical Scorpio behavior, right? But as he's talking and explaining the situation of why he's at where he's at in his career, I was looking at Brian Custer's face, and Brian Custer is just, he's very professional. So of course he's going to just, keep smiling. And I know in his face thinking, ooh, this man can talk. His mouth runs and runs like a duck's ass. But of course he can't say that because that would not be professional. But I was in my mind wondering if there was a thought bubble that was like, those little comic strips with a thought bubble on top of there, what it would say he was actually thinking. And I think that Brian Custer probably likes Keith. I just think he thinks he's long-winded, and he just has a lot to say. And one of the things I picked up from that interview is Keith feels like he wants to make sure that we know that he has a place in the boxing world and that he's still relevant. And I saw in the comments of the video, someone actually said, is he trying to convince us or himself? Which was actually a good point, because he started to kind of repeat himself a little bit, and you start to wonder, was he trying to convince himself of his place in the boxing world, as if to prove that he's still wanted or needed, or that he still has a fan base? And that's my question, is kind of, when did everybody turn on Keith Thurman all of a sudden? I remember 5 or 6 years ago, 2017, 2018, 2019, Keith Thurman was everything. I had a Keith Thurman t-shirt. I love Keith Thurman. He was actually the first fighter that I got, a t-shirt for, right? One of the first, not the first, but in a long time. I hadn't bought a shirt for any fighter for probably 20 years. So I'll just say in a long time. It had been a while since the 90s that I had bought a t-shirt for any fighter. And I was a big Keith Thurman fan. And all of a sudden it seemed like everybody just got pissed off at him. I don't know what happened. I remember thinking he only lost to one person, and that's Manny Pacquiao, the person that Terrence and Errol were both dying to fight. That was the guy that all the welterweights wanted to fight. Once Floyd retired, everybody wanted Pacquiao. So I'm thinking, okay, he wanted the guy that everybody wanted. He wanted the guy that Terrence and Errol wanted. He unfortunately lost the fight, but it was, I thought, a good fight. And I don't understand. And people would say things. I would see comments that, people saying things like, he's a bum. He lost to him. What's going on? Why did he lose? I'm thinking, you lose to one person that's Manny Pacquiao, and you're a bum now? What's that about? I didn't get it. And I noticed for some reason a lot of Errol Spence fans have a lot more animosity. Now maybe it's because Errol has put this narrative out that, I'm mad at Keith and I don't like him, and he put me on the back end, and He didn't make me a priority when I wanted to fight him. I didn't get it. But what I will say is that Errol did the same thing that Keith did to Terrence Crawford. He basically put him on the back burner, basically saying that I will fight you when I'm ready. And he wasn't ready to fight him. So I thought that was interesting, right? He literally got to a point where he was kind of, one of the big popular stars of welterweight when once Errol was more established, and he was basically telling Terrence, I will fight you when I'm good and ready. You're not first on the list. You're like third or fourth. I want to fight these guys and I'll get to you then. I want to get these belts. And I guess in his mind, maybe, I don't know if he thought maybe he was trying to make it a bigger fight. I don't know. But for whatever reason, Errol basically on camera was, as we all know, said, you're not the priority right now. Okay. And in a sense, isn't that what Keith Thurman said to Errol? He was basically saying, I will get to you. I will get to you, son. You're not the priority right now, though. But I will get to you in due time. That's basically what he said. Okay, so what did Errol do different than Keith? He told Terrence, I will get to you when the time is right. That's what happened. So I definitely don't understand someone that's a fan of Errol Spence being mad at Keith, because again, he did a flex. Keith was flexing on Errol, and Errol flexed on Terrence. I don't understand. So, and again, if your only loss is to Manny Pacquiao, I don't understand what happened. Yeah, he had a bit of a layoff, but some of it was because he fought in the summer of 2019. We all know what happened to the world in 2020. Sports around the world were kind of almost slowed down to a certain extent or put on hold. So, and then he fought again, I think in early 2022. Wasn't this year, right? It was he fought Mario Barrios. So there was a 2.5 year layoff. And again, to be fair, we all have to, 2020 is there. We'll kind of forgive everybody if they didn't really have much activity, right? But he fought again in 2022. And he hasn't fought since. Yeah, he has had some big gaps. I'm not denying that. What I'm saying is there was hatred before he fought Mario Barrios, though. I could see people getting pissed off about that. They were already pissed off about that. And they were mad before he fought Mario Barrios. They were mad at him in 2021, like they were mad 2 years ago. And again, I didn't understand what happened. And I just not quite getting it. And, so I just wanted to put that out there. Like, why does everybody hate Keith Thurman? I do notice that the Terrence Crawford fans seem to be like him a little bit more. Maybe, I don't know. They don't seem to feel as much animosity towards Keith. Maybe because Terrence was coming up to 147 a little bit later. And I don't know. And maybe because Errol was in the division a little bit longer than Terrence, and that's why I don't know. But I just wanted to know what happened specifically. Was there something? I don't see what he said again that was any different in terms of the flex and of making, Errol wait. Did he wait it? I don't get what happened. But like I said, I'm still a fan of Keith Thurman, but I just notice a lot of times there seems to be quite a bit of animosity, at least from the American. What I will say is this: a lot of overseas fans or fans that are outside of the U.S. seem to be like Keith a little bit more than we do. So maybe that's something going on here with the American fans. They kind of have an issue with Keith Thurman. But again, I don't know specifically what he did that was so horrible other than lose to Manny Pacquiao, who was the guy. I'm not quite getting it, But again, he may be fighting again this summer. He said in an interview with Brian Custer. So that should be kind of fun. Maybe it'll be Ugas. Maybe it'll be somebody else. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I hope he has a comeback. But just wanted to drop a quick video on that and be back with another one soon. Bye.